My wife, Talia, told me she was leaving for a 3-day business trip on Thursday morning. She packed carefully, checked her schedule twice, and reminded me that she might be difficult to reach. I wished her a safe trip and helped carry her suitcase to the car. But after she drove away, I noticed something strange. Her company had recently announced that all business travel was being postponed for 2 weeks. I didn't immediately accuse her of lying. Instead, I called her office and casually asked whether the trip was still happening. The receptionist hesitated before saying, "As far as I know, no one from your wife's department is traveling." I couldn't stop thinking about that conversation. That evening, Talia called from what she claimed was her hotel. She told me everything was fine and said her boss, Raymond, had scheduled several private meetings. The mention of Raymond made me uncomfortable because his wife, Serena, had recently confided that Raymond was also supposedly staying home that week. I contacted Serena and asked whether she had heard about the trip. She sounded surprised. "Raymond told me he canceled everything," she said. We both became quiet. Neither of us knew what was happening, but we suddenly had the same uneasy feeling about our spouses. The next morning, Serena called me. She had discovered that Raymond's company credit card showed a hotel reservation in the same city where Talia claimed to be traveling. I checked Talia's shared travel itinerary and found the same hotel. My heart sank. Serena and I compared the dates, and everything matched perfectly. Neither of us wanted to believe the obvious explanation, but there was too much evidence. We decided not to confront them separately. Serena suggested that we travel there together and ask them directly. I agreed. I wasn't looking for revenge. I wanted the truth, and I wanted Serena to have the same chance to hear it. That afternoon, Serena and I drove several hours to the hotel. During the trip, neither of us said much. We both knew there was a possibility that we had misunderstood everything. Maybe our spouses were attending legitimate meetings. Maybe the hotel reservations were unrelated. But when we reached the lobby, the receptionist confirmed that Talia and Raymond were both staying there. Worse, their rooms were on the same floor. Serena looked at me and whispered, "This can't be happening." I didn't answer. We sat in the lobby for nearly an hour, waiting to see whether they would appear together. Then the elevator doors opened. Talia stepped out first. Raymond followed seconds later. They were laughing together. Raymond carried 2 coffee cups, and Talia was holding his jacket. They looked completely comfortable. Then Talia saw us. Her smile disappeared instantly. She stopped walking as if someone had frozen her in place. Raymond looked from Serena to me, and his face turned pale. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Serena stepped forward and asked, "Raymond, what are you doing here?" He opened his mouth but couldn't produce an answer. Talia looked directly at me, and the expression on her face told me everything before she said a single word. Talia finally whispered, "I can explain." I nodded. "Then explain." She looked at Raymond, then at Serena. Raymond immediately claimed they had been discussing a work project. Serena laughed bitterly. "A work project that requires a hotel room?" Raymond became defensive, but his explanation kept changing. Talia eventually admitted they had been having an affair for several months. She said she didn't know how to tell me because she was afraid I would leave her. I looked at her and said, "You were afraid I'd leave after you gave me every reason to." She started crying, but I felt strangely calm. The truth was finally out. Serena confronted Raymond next. He admitted he had lied about the canceled business trip and had used work expenses to cover the hotel. Serena was devastated, but she remained composed. She asked him whether he intended to leave her. Raymond couldn't answer. I realized something important at that moment. Both of our spouses had been making plans without considering the people they were betraying. They had created a secret world where their lies felt normal. Bringing Serena with me hadn't been about humiliating Talia. It was about refusing to let either of them control the story anymore. We both deserved to know what had really been happening. Talia begged me to take her home and forget everything. I told her that wasn't possible. She promised to end the affair immediately and said she still loved me. I asked her why she had risked our marriage for someone else's husband. She said she had become emotionally dependent on Raymond. I shook my head. Then you should have told me before crossing that line. I left the hotel with Serena that night. We didn't celebrate what happened. There was nothing to celebrate. We had both discovered that the people we trusted most had been living completely different lives behind our backs. Over the next few weeks, Talia tried desperately to repair our marriage. She apologized to me and admitted the affair had lasted nearly 7 months. Raymond contacted me once and apologized, but I didn't respond. Serena filed for divorce almost immediately. I took more time because I wanted to be certain about my decision. Eventually, I realized I could never return to the marriage we had before that hotel visit. Too many lies had become part of our relationship. I told Talia that I forgave her for my own peace, but forgiveness didn't mean I was willing to remain married to her. Months later, our divorce was finalized. Serena and I stayed in occasional contact, mostly because we understood what the other had experienced. We never became romantically involved, and neither of us wanted revenge against our former spouses. Looking back, I realized the most powerful part of that night wasn't confronting Talia. It was simply standing beside Serena when the truth finally appeared. Talia's face had said everything before she spoke. Her expression told me she knew the lie was finished. Sometimes you don't need a confession, a photograph, or a long argument. Sometimes one unexpected person walking into a hotel lobby is enough to make every secret collapse.